Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be looking at how to prepare current affairs for UPSC Prelims and Mains examination. See, 2023 UPSC Prelims is just around 8 months ahead and UPSC Mains is around 10 to 11 months ahead. So in this scenario, how do you go about the current affair, which is the most difficult part of the exam? So watch till the end of the video in order to get all your questions answered. See, the first question to be answered is what is the scope of current affairs in the exam? So, for both prelims and also mains, the current affairs plays a crucial role in the examination. So, we will know that the current affairs syllabus in the prelims examination is mentioned like this. You can see here current events of the national and the international importance. This is the first pointer in the UPSC GS syllabus for prelims. And the last pointer you can see here general issues on the environment, ecology, biodiversity, and climate change. General issues. So these are the two topics where the current affairs become very important. So for the current affairs, UPSC has not given a detailed description the way it has given for all our GS1, GS2, GS3, and GS4 syllabus. So for all these static syllabus, we have a detailed syllabus by the UPSC. For current affairs in the prelims, it is just mentioned current events of the national and the international importance. If we look at the importance of current affairs in the previous year's examinations, you can see here in the year 2011, there were 13 current affairs questions. Successive years, you can see till 2020, the number of pure current affairs questions were 18. See, when I tell you about there were 18 questions out of 100, which means this is the core current affairs questions that we discuss. Okay, so around 1/5 of the paper will have core current affairs with you, and in order to answer these questions in the prelims examination, what should you do? What should be your sources? This will be the course of discussion. Okay, now for the prelims examination, let's divide the video into the first part. I'll be discussing about the current affairs sources and the strategy for the prelims examination. In the second part of the video, of the same video, I'll be discussing the strategy and the sources for the mains examination. So let's get started. For the prelims examination, as we all know, newspaper is the most important source. Remember, there would be many confusion between the aspirants whether to go for the Hindu or the Indian Express or the Live Mint or the Economic Times or the Times of India. As far as the examination is concerned, the Hindu remains one of the top newspapers that is being preferred by the aspirants. Along with this, if you want to broaden your horizon, if you want to have a different narrative and perspective towards the current affairs issues that's happening, so you can refer to Indian Express, but in the Indian Express, make sure you limit your source only to the explained edition. Okay, Indian Express explained edition would be very nice, or the combination of these two current affairs sources from the newspaper is a must. And remember, newspaper reading should become a habit once you are into the preparation. Okay, once you start thinking about UPSC as your career option, so make sure this is the first thing to happen. Newspaper should become a part of your life. The way you have daily routines going on, newspaper reading should become a part of your routine. The second one is the daily current affairs quiz. In order to follow this, you can visit the Legacy IAS Academy website. There you will have the daily current affairs quiz. You'll have 5 questions every day on the current affairs. So this is a must, a very important one, because every day if you go through the current affairs and solve these MCQs, your knowledge is standardized. At the same time, the application of the knowledge also gets tested. So this is very important from the exam point of view, because in the exam you will not be, the prelims exam basically you will not be asked to write, you will be asked to choose. So that would be practiced every day if you make solving the current affairs quiz as a part of your routine. Third thing to do is the monthly magazine. And when I talk about the monthly magazine, I want to make it clear here that monthly magazine cannot substitute the newspaper. Which means if you go through the monthly magazine, it doesn't mean that you can skip the newspaper. Okay, newspaper will be the primary source, and in order to add more content which is specific to the examination, you can go through the monthly magazine. Okay, monthly magazine, you can download this from the Legacy IAS website. You have the compilation of the Hindu, the Indian Express, and also the PIB in our website. So you can do that. If not, then you can follow any institutes or any academy's monthly magazine and follow it religiously. For example, for the Jan month, if you're following the Legacy IAS, for the February, you shouldn't shift to a different institute. Okay, make sure all the months you follow the only current affairs magazine, the magazine from the same source. This is something that you have to keep in mind. And the last thing is the PIB, Press Information Bureau, which is the official website for all the government related schemes and also the government related programs. This is something that you have to keep a watch on, because a lot of instances where the questions are directly picked from the headlines of the PIB. Okay, for example, when the question was asked about the vaccinations of tuberculosis, okay, there was a PIB article which said that there there are evidences to prove that the tuberculosis vaccines are available. So UPSC made a straightforward statement and said tuberculosis has no vaccines. So this way, the headings that you get in the PIB will be the straightforward questions in the examination. So you have to be open towards the PIB and just have a look at it. Do not memorize the content, just have a look at the PIB. This is something that you have to do with respect to prelims examination from the preparation point of view. Once your preparation is done, once you're sure that whatever the content of the material that you are referring to is over, you're done with it, you've revised it, and the most important thing that you have to focus on is the tests. Okay, you have to write the tests based on the current affairs. You have to take 50 or 100 questions per month, and one thing that becomes important after you write the test is revision of the solution sheet, because once you start revising the solution sheet, then the knowledge gaps that you have, it would be covered. And in the tests, in the monthly current affairs tests, basically the most important questions would be given, and there are a high possibility that the same questions or the same content would get repeated, same topic would get repeated in the examination. Okay, so attempting the tests and also going through the solution sheet is something that you shouldn't afford to miss if you are a serious UPSC aspirant. I've told you, I've answered this question already, whether to go for the Hindu or the Indian Express. So going for the Hindu will solve the purpose, but if you for the extra reading, it is the Indian Express explained section that you have to refer. Okay. And the most important question that the student asks is, should you make notes or should we make notes, or what is the importance of notes for the prelims examination from the current affairs point of view? This is a wide dispute or wide confusion with respect to this particular question. See, the best way to go about the prelims current affairs is not to make notes, because I'm telling you this because once you start referring to the monthly magazine, the entire monthly magazine is in the form of the notes that you're planning to make. Okay, so making notes will multiply your effort. So the best thing to do is follow the monthly magazine religiously, revise it multiple times, so that the need for you to make notes is eliminated. See, it is very simple. When you sit and start making notes, it will take a long time. And when you refer to a Legacy IAS monthly magazine, we have done a bit of your part of work. So we have made your work easy by compiling the important current affairs and making it into important pointers and adding some important diagrams and analysis to it. So a part of your work is already done and you just have to go through it. You don't have to prepare it. So when you're going through the monthly magazine, you don't have the need to make notes specific to prelims examination. So you can rely on the monthly magazine and also the important current affairs or the important issue that is there in the newspaper. Some of the important question here: how do you link current affairs to static? This becomes a very important part if you want to answer the prelims questions in the exam. See, static and current affairs should be very well linked. You can see this question, which was asked in the year 2019. Which of the following foreign travelers elaborately discussed about the diamonds and diamond mines of India? Okay, this was the question. A very typical, and this question was analyzed to be the most difficult, one of the most difficult questions in that particular year. And this question, which comes from the medieval history point of view, and this was asked in the examination because that particular year, the fugitive economic offender, that is Nirav Modi, who was also a diamond merchant, this particular scam that he did to Punjab National Bank. So this issue was in news. As Nirav Modi was in news, who was a diamond merchant, UPSC made sure that it picked a question from the medieval history, which is very well mentioned in the NCRT, about the diamond mines and the diamond jewels of medieval India. And most of the aspirants got this question wrong, or most of the aspirants did not attempt this question because the current affairs and the static was not linked by them when they were preparing. Okay, so this will not happen overnight. Make sure whatever the current affairs that you are reading now, you link it to the static part that is there in the syllabus. Once you are able to do this, then half of your job is done. Now if we talk about the mains examination, along with the sources that I've mentioned above, about the newspaper, PIB, monthly magazine, and the daily quiz, these are the four sources that you have to integrate. I repeat again, you have to integrate along with the four sources that we have mentioned before. The first one would be Yojana magazine. Okay, very important one, very important. You will get the analysis and you will also get what is the most important current affairs that is going on in the country. And the second is the economic survey. Every year you will have one or two questions directly picked from the economic survey, and you will have the economic survey just the day before the budget. So be open to this and make sure that you go through the economic survey in a very comprehensive way, and that you will not miss out on the questions that are asked from the economic survey. And the third and the most important is the PRS legislative research. Okay, PRS legislative research website, and here you will get the detailed analysis of every legislature or every bill that is being tabled in the parliament. Okay, if there are any issues with the bill, and if there is an analysis with the bill, and if there is any disputes with the bill, and all these things would be elaborately explained in the PRS legislative research website. So this is something that you should have a close watch on every now and then. I won't recommend going through the PRS legislative research website every day or every 2 days once, but make sure you have an eye open to this. Whenever you find time, like once a week or twice a week, make sure you open the website and go through the important bills that are being tabled. Okay, this is something. And Sunset TV, which is a public broadcaster, okay, which is also a official broadcaster for the government. Sunset TV, you will have a YouTube channel named Sunset TV, and also in Sunset TV, one show that you should be very consistent with is the perspective. Okay, this becomes very important. That is perspective, that you have to have a close watch on. What happens to the perspective is, if there are issues going on between India and Russia, let's assume, and the people who would be called here on the panel discussion would be the former ambassador to ambassador to Russia, or the former ambassador to European Union, or a permanent representative to United Nations. So the people of that stature, of that caliber, would be called here to express their views. And you are supposed to pick that view and make a note of this. So for the mains examination, note making becomes very crucial, and note making is essential, because with the note making itself, you will be able to concretize your knowledge. But for prelims, you can rely on the monthly magazine. But for the mains, you need to have your own handwritten notes depending on the most important issues in the last 10 to 12 months. Okay, this is something that you have to do. Along with this, one thing that becomes more important is the Legacy IAS YouTube channel. Okay, here at the Legacy IAS, we upload daily current affairs videos, and these videos will enrich your content. So make sure you subscribe to the Legacy IAS YouTube channel in order to get timely updates. The sample question, if you look at the mains question, you can see here, can the vicious cycle of gender inequality, poverty, and malnutrition be broken through microfinancing of the women's self-help groups? Three important issues being discussed here: gender inequality, poverty, and malnutrition. And trust me, from the last, if you look at the newspaper from the last 10 to 12 months, you will have an extensive data and analysis related to all these three indicators, that is gender inequality, poverty, and malnutrition. You need to pick that data and have your own analysis and content and comment on such particular issues. Okay. Second one, USA is facing an existential threat in the form of China. What is that is much more challenging than the erstwhile Soviet Union. Explain. If you're following the IR part of the current affairs thoroughly from the last 10 to 12 months, you will be in a very better position to answer this question, and you will be of the opinion how China is rising and how Russia and US conflicts are growing day by day. Okay, and you can also include the issue of Russian invasion on Ukraine and the Chinese expansion to include China and also claim for one China policy. So all these issues will be discussed in the everyday newspaper and also Legacy IAS YouTube channel's videos. So make sure you subscribe for the more content. And thanks a lot for watching the video. Have a nice day.